What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm a little sleep deprived,
Okay.
but I'm getting there.
Yeah, because you had the new baby,
Yes, baby Charles Riley,
Charles Riley.
Charlie,
Okay.
and it's exciting because I'm in a very different stage of my career than I was with my other two.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really special to be able to enjoy him a little bit more than, fortunately, I did not make the time to with my
Yeah.
previous children.
You're kind of like in that grind mode, and now it's like, things are looking up and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The light at the end of the tunnel is looking a lot brighter.
Okay. Yes. And how is his, does he already have a personality that you could see?
Yeah, let me tell you, he's like a star baby right now.
Okay.
Like, he's legitimately doing like the eating, sleeping, pooping, peeing, like rinse and repeat. I don't want to like jinx it, watch some like wood to knock on you, but he's been a great baby, and both of my kids have been really good with him, and my wife has just been very, ease at ease. You don't know, it's the unknowns.
Yeah. That's good. That's kind of third one. I can't imagine a third one. I have two myself, but like I can't imagine a third one.
Yeah, people keep saying to me like, why three? Or even like before when we were talking about it, they're like, you're really crazy. I'm like, we make good kids. Like, selfishly, the world needs more Holtzers in it.
Yeah, it needs if they're mad at you, absolutely. Stop saying they get sick.
No offense, Aaron.
Who knows? But how's everything? I know, before we even start, I want to kind of give you your flowers, because I do always feel, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, I do feel like we wouldn't be here today in my studio and everything if it wasn't for you specifically and Whoggga.
That conversation that we had in, I think it was December of 22.
Yeah.
It was December 22.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to selfishly, for you, say how we came across meeting each other?
Yeah, go ahead if you want.
All right. So you were doing content creation for a mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
And I've known this mutual friend for years, and out of nowhere, their marketing just got super good. And I was like, wow, he's crushing it. And I'm like, let me call him and give him kudos and say how good our mutual friend was doing the marketing. And I thought he was the one doing it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, it's Theo. And I'm like, I gotta meet this Theo guy. And he made the introduction between us. And then I got to know you and your story and where you kind of came from with the business. And I'm just like, someone that needs to be in the Adamverse.
Yeah, that's crazy. Back then I was working from home. I had just end of the pandemic, you would say, networking was coming back, and you brought me into the first networking group that I ever joined.
And then it snowballed for you.
And then it just snowballed.
I should probably apologize to your advice kids.
And then I'll leave her home.
I'm sorry.
That's your camera right there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for you, I feel like I wouldn't be here today. I feel like a lot of the connections that started with you, you gave me the opportunities to grow and be in this office and now create this studio, which is literally a week old.
And is this your first podcast that we're doing together?
Yeah, this is the first one that's not a test podcast.
I'm honored to not be a test. I'm honored to have made a custom beta phase.
Yeah, I really like custom beta. This is what's alpha beta, so it's the C. Alpha beta, I don't even know.
Here. And so, and I will say for the viewers watching this that the word Whoggga is spelled Hygge.
Yeah.
And it means to be comfortable, to be cozy, to be yourself. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's always been who I am. So as we're on this interview podcast together, I am shoeless, very cozy and comfortable, and I'm glad.
As the first person to actually be doing this, I feel because that was the premise behind this, to be cozy and comfy, and to feel you could just have a conversation, not feel all the glitz and the glam and the cameras are bothering you. Do you feel bothered by all this?
No, and I actually get very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And I feel great. The ambiance, you crushed it.
Thank you.
I'm surprised.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I talk to me more about Whoggga. I mean, like you said, we met in 2022. Whoggga was how old at that time in December 2022?
Whoggga was about a year and a half old at that point. We did our soft launch in June of 21. And then we did our hard launch in September of 21.
Okay.
And then we shook out a couple of bugs and, adapt and modify. And when you and I met, I remember it was December of 22. Mm-hmm. And I think you actually became a member of Whoggga either in December or in January.
Yes.
And like, you can give me all the credit that you want to give me, but like, you literally took the ball and ran with it. You talk about someone that's independent and, you saw the opportunity and you took advantage to build great relationships.
Yeah.
I appreciate the accolades, but you're the one that got yourself to where this is today. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
You could share the spotlight.
So let me see if I can explain this right. So Whoggga is a networking group that's not a networking group. Sadly, you hate the word networking group and, talking about you and saying like you hate nothing like that. That's not hate.
I think that there's a rhyme, a reason, a purpose for everything.
Okay.
And networking is extremely important. Mm-hmm. And, there's a term I love to use called unconventional opportunity, mm-hmm. where you don't know what the opportunity is going to present. Mm-hmm. And in traditional networking, it's very transactional where the horse blinders are on and it's very focused on leads and referrals and, revenue. Mm-hmm. And, back in January of 2020, my business partners and I did these focus group think tanks to really understand and learn what business owners were looking for. Mm-hmm. Not just what was already existing, but we called it the good, the bad, the ugly, the magnificent.
Yes.
Which was, what do you want out of your business development and your networking? And, it's not that I don't like the word networking. It's, I think the term networking today is not what it was really meant to be then. Mm-hmm. I think then it was meant to be meeting people, building relationships, finding resources, collaborating. Mm-hmm. And I do feel that the term has become a little bit more transactional, which is not necessarily a bad thing if that's what you're looking for.
Yes.
But for me, kind of like in our friendship, it's the unconventional opportunity. It's, to learn to be a better business owner, a better father, or maybe a better mother, a better son. Mm-hmm. It's things that you can take away from people that you're building relationships with. So one of our core values in Whoggga is relationships before business, to really get to know the person, not just for what they do, but for who they are.
Yeah.
So I would say Whoggga is a community, a vetted community for entrepreneurs and business owners to thrive personally, professionally, and socially.
Yeah. I would say that's 100% true because I don't know this exact statistic, but it's like making friends after like 25 or 30 or whatever is like drops tremendously. And I would say in the past like 2 years, like because of Whoggga, I've made a lot of really close friendships that like I cherish to this day. Like
some of them out right now.
Yeah.
I want to hear, I'll say top 3, but there might be 5 in there.
Okay. I would say that Rich Damaris is in there. Jen Fink is in there. I think she's fairly new, but Samantha with Green Velvet.
Samantha Lopez. Yeah,
Samantha Lopez. She's definitely up there. Liam. Well, is Liam in Whoggga?
Yeah, of course.
Liam.
He was the event enhancer for our gallery we had this year. 100 members.
Yes. Chanel, amazing.
All the people I just mentioned, all the energy, like you had all these people in one room. There were James and Faith would look around and I was going to be like, all right, we got a problem here.
Well, shout out to you guys. Yeah, you said that was definitely 5 people or 4 people at least. But yeah, and you have other amazing people in there. Tina, I haven't really got to connect with Tina yet, but I know she's an amazing person. I could just see her personality.
Let me ask you something, Theo. You've been a business owner now for, is it 5 years?
Yeah, something like that.
All right. And, we met a little over, so I guess it's about
years ago.
Almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's coming up on 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
When we met at that stage of your life professionally, what was it that you were looking for that made sense for us to build a relationship together?
I would say that I really started the business in 2019, and then I took the leap of faith in February of 2020, and then what happened in March of 2020. So everything was put on pause for those 2 years. And I would say that when I took the leap of faith to like focus on the business in February of 2020, I knew that I was like, December of 2020, I'm gonna be outside. I'm gonna shake hands, I'm gonna kiss babies, I'm gonna meet business owners. I need to network or find that community.
So you were aware that you needed something. You just didn't know what that something was for yourself.
Yeah.
What were you doing at that time to supplement what you thought you needed but didn't have yet?
I wasn't doing anything. I was really just focused on the business and like trying to build it up. That was its like pre-infancy.
And when you're a marketer, it's like the shoemaker's kids.
Yeah.
Because you could do all the marketing you want to do for non-media, but okay.
Yeah. So I was doing a lot of stuff for free, a lot of stuff for pennies and just getting out there. And then obviously the pandemic hit. And so there was no networking. I mean, there's like Zoom and everything. And I tried that. And as everybody knows, like it didn't work.
I got kicked out of this room. Somebody randomly just popped into my room and I have no idea who this person is walking to our meeting.
Yeah. So that's what I was doing. So like I kind of knew that like I needed that community and I kind of knew that I needed to do something along those lines, but it didn't come along till, you reached out to me.
And then I want to say Whoggga kind of snowballed you into Long Island Elite, LAE, and then snowballed you into BNI. And then it also got you involved with the Fight for Charity.
Yes.
And if you look at the, let's say year and a half, year and 2/3, whatever you want to call it, I tell people all the time to be kind to themselves because we're always so busy being kind to other people or recognize other people, but sometimes we don't recognize ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you look at what you've accomplished, and it's not just from a success or revenue standpoint, but you look at, going back to the pandemic of being in your home alone or, doing this work and building this business alone, which is not fun.
Yeah.
And then meeting myself and getting involved in unconventional opportunities that led to personal things, professional things, travel things.
Yes.
But if you look at, the 600 days, we'll say, of knowing each other, look at all of the things that you've accomplished, like from a perspective of being proud of yourself. Like it's hard to recognize that. And I've been telling you that more and more as I've been seeing you, because you need to recognize it, like not just as a dad and a husband, because I know that you take a lot of pride in that, but as a business owner, like you're doing like amazing things. Like it's only going to be, they say it's all downhill from here, which I think that'll be easy. They say it's uphill from here. Like, no, it's easy. I'm all.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And you allow me to think of that as well, because, as a business owner, you can be really tough on yourself. You can be really tough on yourself.
It's all like,
it was.
We just did a rebrand in Whoggga.
Let's talk about that rebrand. Yeah, please talk about it.
All right.
Well, Ada's another one. Shout out to Ada.
Ada's been our CMO since March or April of 21. So she's been with us since before we launched it. And, she's been responsible for a lot of our brand and culture and what it looks like. And we just recently, so Whoggga is a highly vetted community for business owners. And one of our new taglines is Whoggga, the conversations are just different.
Yeah.
And a lot of what we've realized is, it is lonely being an entrepreneur, and the conversations are different. And, you think about, when you go out with like your friends to dinner and maybe they're teachers or, doctors or, whatever it is that they're doing, it really does take a business owner to understand what a business owner goes through, the hustle, the grind, the pain, the ebbs and the flows. It doesn't just turn off at Friday at 5 o'clock. So a lot of our rebrand has really been around building that sense of community, camaraderie, also that we've been doing from day one, but just having more clarity in it. One of our other taglines is, a different way of doing business. And, from a culture standpoint, you can do business however you feel fit to. And if there's a way that you enjoy doing it, something like this, interviewing people and having a podcast, this is something that's complementary to your tale of how you do business.
Yeah. Definitely give it the due, but the only reason I started this is because both of you are in the same BNI, right? BNI, Notorious Innovation. We're in Dick Hills. Oh, Climac.
It's in Dick Hills chapter, but it is a Climac.
Yeah.
Which is funny because like people ask me all the time, because like my house is literally across the street.
Yeah.
And like takes me like some good stairs. He's like the car does not get he does not get warranted.
Right. You should just walk. You should just get that you daily walk.
So I have an electric scooter, but having 3 kids now and a life insurance policy, I'm gonna just life insurance is love insurance, right? So what is it? Yes, I guess
collaterals, but and if anybody knows BNI, you have to, you don't have to, you should be doing one-to-ones, at least one-to-one a week, like we're doing right now.
We have to put a slip in.
Uh-huh.
We have to put a slip in. We got to put a slip in. I put a slip in.
Whoever gets to it first, I'll put something. If you're who was with slip in. That sounds pretty bad. If it's a slip in. We have to do our one-to-ones. And so, you reach out to me and you're just like, hey, let's do our one-to-one. And then I was like, why don't we do it in the new studio? Because fuck it, let's have some marketing for Whoggga.
Wow, you dropped an F-bomb before I did on this podcast.
Wow, I had to christen the pod, which I'll bring the F-twice. But, I was like, let's not do it on the podcast or create a podcast to do this. I don't even have a name for this podcast yet. I don't even have a logo name. I'm just going to figure it out as I go. And, it'll market you, they'll market the studio, and it'll look great for everybody involved. So
that's cross-promoting.
Cross-promoting.
I like it.
Yes. So, yes, the rebrand for Whoggga. So, like, talk to me about the rebrand.
Yeah, I always tell you, dude, like, my wife's, like, she makes jokes. Like, I have more Whoggga swag clothes. Like, I could literally live out of Whoggga swag clothes, including socks. I used to have Whoggga underwear. I might have Whoggga underwear. Bathing suits, this. I have so much Whoggga swag, and it's all this branding, which was, no, people don't really know this, but this was our initial logo, which is really just a handwritten script. We actually hired a calligraphy artist. They wrote Whoggga 3 ways, and we had to pick one way, and then that was our logo.
Okay, that's awesome.
And the grind, grow, and gratify, the original 3 Gs, was our foundation when we launched the brand. First you're grinding, hustling to make it, then you're growing, mastering your craft, and then you're gratifying to make a difference. So grind, grow, gratify. So I have all these swag clothes, and
you changed the logo and everything.
Even with Well, so we kept Whoggga.
Okay.
Our mascot Whoggga is a combination of a high five and a smile. We wanted our members to judge their experience by having a good time and enjoying themselves. If you think of a high five, usually it's positive, it's good energy, it makes you feel good. But now Whoggga is these block letters, which looks great and simplified. People understand now that it has 3 Gs and not just scribbles. Which, so I have to buy a lot of new clothing.
But listen, point that clothing, it'll be V1. It'll be worth something one day when you're global, like BNI.
Yeah, I think that's
the original team are going to be like, I have the original sweat.
Yeah,
OG.
All the pit stains.
GGG reminds me, I think it was in Friday or Friday after next, Mike Epps was talking to one of the, like the thugs in the movie, and he was like, OG, triple OG, and triple OG always pops into my head when I said things. That's
wow. Quick side note. I think it was right around when I was getting married. I saw a Groupon that Mike Epps was going to be performing at Westbury.
Okay.
So like, I didn't even ask my friends. Like, I just bought 6 tickets.
Yeah.
Like, it was the max I could buy. I bought 6 tickets.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what to expect. Like, I saw Mike Epps was in, Friday, next Friday, whatever it was. So I'm like, oh, cool, comedian. Like, figured he's a celebrity. And my friends will never forgive me for going to this. Like, we had no idea what was going on. We're sitting there. We might have been the only white people in the audience.
And how comfortable did you feel?
Not as uncomfortable as I felt when I saw Bob Saget live. That was pretty uncomfortable. But, yeah. So, triple OG, whatever it is, Mike Epps, I follow you there.
Awesome. So, I mean, well, let's talk about some of the things that like Whoggga does. I know that when we first started, there's like one thing that I really appreciated when I first started Whoggga was like your nooks. Like, I went to a couple of them. I mainly went to like 1 or 2 a month, and I think you had them weekly at that point. I could be wrong, but there were these nooks where you were able to sit down with a bunch of other business owners and you talk about like the things that are bothering you, whether it be financial, whether it be operational, whether it be personal. And it really made me feel like I was not alone in like the growth or grind portion of the business, which I feel like I'm still in the grind portion, even though you said like I made it this far. I feel like I'm still grinding.
You're transitioning.
Yeah. So, are you guys still having that? Do you guys still have that? Like, and that is in addition to like, your volleyball nights and like your parties and like your happy hours and your karaoke. The karaoke's, oh man, I love the karaoke's.
I know. I got my next song ready to go.
You got it ready to go.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm not going to disclose it now, but I've been practicing for
real Michael, and that's
September 14th. Yeah. What I would say, Theo, and I appreciate you asking, but I mean, I know it sounds funny. Like, I don't want to make this like a commercial for Whoggga.
Yeah.
The goal is to bring like-minded business owners together to connect, collaborate personally, professionally, socially. We are a vetted invitation-only community. It is a month-to-month membership. And the goal is for us to complement them and for them to complement us. One of my favorite quotes that I learned from my father is, if something doesn't complement your life, it complicates your life. And when we were doing these think tank focus groups back in 2020, what we learned from business owners was they really just want to be around other like-minded, good-hearted, genuine, authentic business owners.
Yeah.
Going back to that term unconventional opportunity, when you just bring good people together, whether it's at a Nook. So our Nooks meet, they're bi-monthly, and it's the same 15, 20 members. They're in a geographical area.
Yeah.
And it's vulnerable. You're opening up about things you're going through, and it's not always easy to open up about it. Sometimes it's not easy to listen to what other people are saying.
Yeah.
And we all have our problems. We all go through different things, and sometimes hearing it from somebody else's lens allows you to go past that hurdle or whatever the case is.
Cool.
So
that's a lot easier to I find it's a lot easier to give advice than even listen to your own.
Yes. Well, it's funny because as you're talking to I just had a kind of consulting call with my consulting business, and as I'm talking to my client, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, just so you know, I might be consulting you right now, but I'm actually going to take my own advice from this because I just need to maybe hear it out loud.
Yeah.
But we have the Nooks that are very personal, very intimate. It's not transactionally focused, so we're not going around giving elevator pitches or drawing a pitch to sell ourselves. It's what's really going on in your business. How can we help and support you? Yeah. And by meeting with the same 15, 20 members twice a month, every month, you're building onto the relationship. The accountability is there. The worst is when you're talking to someone trying to help them they can't even help themselves or get out of their own way. And we've been having this conversation for 6 months now, do something about it. Like what's going on? And then all the other social things that we have for Whoggga, whether it's hiking, kayaking, volleyball, axe throwing, wineries, it's just different hobbies, passions, and interests. Karaoke, Tim Wan, who hosts the karaoke huddle for Whoggga, Tim loves singing. He loves the stage. Yeah. You look at someone like Anthony Velacos, and has hosted a sport.
Nice. I remember when we went snowboarding, and he decided to snowshoe up the mountain 3-4 times.
Yeah.
So
everyone brings. So I just broke. I guess was healing from breaking my foot playing pickleball.
So I remember.
I'm the only person under 70 years old to break their 5th metatarsal playing pickleball. Autographs afterwards. So I'm healed, and Mike Pistone was hosting the. It was Mike and Dean DiCarlo, and they were hosting it. And we went up to the Wyndham Mountain. There was maybe 10 of us, and I knew I wasn't going to ski or snowboard. Yeah. I felt like that the soccer mom or soccer dad that sits at the bottom of the mountain. I was there. I took pictures of everyone beforehand, so I knew what everyone was wearing. So as they were coming down, and maybe Theo's coming down there. There's Mike rolling down the mountain again. The day he broke it, just at the go. Yeah,
I swear it's safe.
I was there. Yeah, but one of the things that. So I'm the co-founder. My partner Greg is the other co-founder. I always say it's our DNA that made this, and I wanted to build something that I genuinely wanted to be part of. If you're a bowler, you join a bowling league. If you're a golfer, you join maybe a country club. If you're a business owner, what are you joining to give you that sense of community and camaraderie? And I like to socialize. I like to go hiking or go play golf or do different things. And for the concept of sharing things that I'm passionate about with others, and then them wanting to share things that they're passionate with others, you never know. So that snowing or snowboarding or skiing huddle that was hosted, there were people that went that are passionate about that, and they got to experience that with other like-minded people. That collaboration, that camaraderie, you never know where that conversation goes. So building this platform, organization, community, whatever we're going to call it. But we really wanted to provide a value to business owners where they feel that TLC. One of the things that we said when COVID happened was business owners just needed a hug.
Yeah. And I'd say that's 100% true.
You just need a hug, like it's lonely. Like you had PPP going on, you had, you know, you just don't know. There's so many unknowns, and when you're going through that alone, it's scary. Like it's a dark place, and when you have support and people you can open up to that are going through it themselves or have been through it, you just need to hear that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, let me ask, now that you feel like you're over a hump or you see the light at the end of the tunnel, what is something that you're able to do with your family that like you've been looking forward to for like, say, the past like 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, so my business partner, Greg, doesn't say it as often now, but he said it a lot to me, you know, over the past few years that, you know, I still have kind of like that employee mindset, like that 9 to 5 mindset type of thing, because, you know, I want to block out family time, and there's no such thing as a work-life balance. It's, you know, something that we say in Whoggga is it's a harmony. You know, if part of your harmony feels off, you have to complement it. So to answer your question, if become a significantly better husband and father, my hustle and grind is still there. I will say that my hard work is still hard, but it's now transitioned to a little bit smarter. I'm not the most organized person. I would say I'm not a mess, but I'm an organized, like, chaos. And I thrive in that environment. And
it all doesn't look like chaos, but to you, you know where everything is. You know exactly where everything is.
Yeah, but it's really been that harmony. It's been, you know, finding the bits and pieces to spend time with the kids. You know, now that we have a third, you know, like I've been taking some naps during the day. I love naps. I never nap. Now that my son Charlie is, you know, a week and a half old, you know, some of the best time I spend with him is napping. You know, there's nothing better than putting him on my chest and shutting the phone off and, you know, just being there in the moment with him. And, you know, I would say from birth to 1 year old, kids grow so fast. So that's something I wasn't able to do with my other kids, and I'm actually really excited to be doing now.
That's awesome. How are the kids taking it? How are they doing with Charlie?
They're great with him. And, you know, the hardest thing with them is teaching them to be not so much in his face and to not be violent. They're not violent. I tell my son Jackson, he say, you know, Jax, I say, you know, here's my hand. How do you think, you know, if this was Charlie, how do you think she should touch it? And you immediately see Jackson go like this. He's like, no. I'm like, what if you just went like this, like soft touching? So it's like training their my wife's still training me.
We're never done training.
Yeah, so like, you know, like my daughter Molly's going to be 7 in January, so she's going into first grade. So go, you know, Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 3:30. You know, she's got her thing going on. My son Jackson is going into universal pre-K from, you know, dropping him off at 8:30 to picking him up at 4 or 3. Like
so Charlie gets some quiet time.
We get some mom and dad time, grandparent time. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. It takes a village. You know, it takes a village to raise a family. And, you know, like when people were asking me, like, you know, you're crazy to have a third or this or that. Like I said, I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm beyond thankful. Like you talk about gratitude and like showing appreciation, like for my mom, my dad, my brother, my mother, father-in-law, niece, like it takes a village and you can't do it alone. And a lot of people do it alone, and that's scary. It's like that sense of community that you know, we talk about.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, man.
I'm so happy.
In the beginning, I'm 37. I turned 38 in December. And I have some big things planned for by the time I turn 40. You know, I've been fortunate. I never really knew what I wanted to do. I always kind of felt like I had an identity crisis. Like what was I meant to do? There's a term Ikigai. Maybe on this podcast you'll put up a picture of Ikigai and people can see what I'm talking about. So Ikigai is a Japanese concept and philosophy that means reason for being. And a lot of people in the Japanese culture work to be older. You know, they work until they're older. And it's not always about the money. You know, in America, I think it's very much about the money. You look at other parts of the world, and you know, we have palaces. So, you know, finding that reason for being, I feel for myself, my own Ikigai. You know, the world needs what I'm doing. I'm good at it. I can get paid for it.
Yeah.
You know, like there's all these things that kind of come into play with it. And, you know, like from here, I'm excited to see where everything goes. You know, Whoggga is going to continue to grow. You know, right now we're just over 140 members.
140 during your gala, you were like at 110.
Yeah, back in May, I think we were at about 110.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've had some really nice growth. You know, being at a month-to-month community.
Yeah.
You know, we constantly have skin in the game to provide value to our members to continue to stay a member.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have about a 70% acceptance rate for people that apply. But I mean, you know, as we're providing value for our members, a lot of our new members come from our existing members.
Mm-hmm.
And what's nice about that from a referral standpoint is the people that are recommending people in know them. And yeah, they understand our culture, they understand the person's culture. So it's like, we're not wasting time, you know.
Yeah.
You're
Wasting time, like, vetting the person.
Well, we're vetting the person.
Yeah.
You know, Jason Hershkowitz, you know, is now an owner of Whoggga. Jason became an owner of Whoggga a few months back.
Congratulations, Jason.
Yeah, Jason's been a phenomenal. I mean, he's a ride or die for me and Greg. He's been, you know, you talk about OG Triple G.
Yeah.
Jason's an OG Triple G. When we had the focus groups back in January 2020, Jason just launched his beyond the staff business into staffing and recruitment consulting. And COVID happened, and you know, his business went that way, my business went that way, because you know, my consulting business I launched just before COVID happened. And you know, Jason spent 2 years with us building his role.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a full paying member. He built his role of community manager. Well, first it was concierge, and then community manager, and then you know, he wanted to be more, you know, more ingrained in the business. He talked about Ikigai, like, you know, Jason's just amazing at what he does, and it's so complimentary and supportive to our community. And then, you know, now having Jason on board as an owner with me and Greg, you know, it's special because Jason was in every single one of those focus groups. 8 of those focus group think tanks, all 200 business owners that we have over those 8 days. Jason literally sat to my left for every single meeting. So he heard what people were looking for.
For you guys to put together those focus groups, that's amazing, because I can't think of getting 5 to 10 people in a room to ask questions. Like, just getting people this time is extremely difficult.
Monday to Thursday.
Yeah.
Each focus group had 20 to 25 completely different business owners in it. And each one was 2 hours long, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., Monday to Thursday. And we started off every focus group by saying the reason that we're here is to change the landscape of what networking and business development is. And we wanted people to share the good, the bad, the ugly, the magnificent, what they loved about networking, what they hated, what they wish there was more of, less of, some, none of. And we literally took all that feedback and we started to develop what Whoggga Foundation became. And then in February of 2020, we learned about the Scandinavian, you know, culture of Whoggga. And then COVID happened. My consulting business that was 6 months old went from here to there. And then Greg and I had a conversation. You know, Greg's been a friend. He's been a mentor. He's been a role model. He's been a confidant. He's been someone that I've never had anyone give as much of I want to say shit. I've never had somebody consistently give so much of a shit about me or care about me consistently. You know, I had coaches growing up, baseball coaches, and they train you for a season, this and that, and then kind of maybe you lose touch. But Greg has been one of the only people I've had in my life to have those hard conversations. And something that Greg says is hard conversations lead to easier times, easy conversations lead to hard times. And as I've matured and gotten older, you know, I've learned that if you genuinely care about someone, you need to have these hard conversations with them. So, you know, Greg has been that person for me. You know, Jason's been that person for me. We've been that person for Jason. We've been that person, not so much for Greg, but he's the one that has the harder conversations with us. But you know, for me, it was really special to find someone like Greg that saw my superpowers and believed in me. And you know, as I was a new dad with my daughter Molly being born, you know, as I was a new business owner starting my consulting business, as I was another new dad with my son Jackson being born, you know, finding out 4 days before COVID that my wife is pregnant with him. You know, life doesn't get easier. We just get stronger. and having the right people around you to support you and care about you and believe in you, you know, it's magical.
This is magical. I appreciate that. You're saying all the right things. I guess the last thing I want to ask you is, or I'd not even ask you, tell you, I would like to say that, you know, as a business owner, sometimes I get inquiries and references from different places. I've gotten a lot of inquiries from, you know, Montreal. I've got a lot of inquiries from, you know, Delaware and everything. And as you start to think, you're like, maybe I could expand as a business. I'm sure Google is just like, how do we expand like into, you know, Queens or Brooklyn or Long Island, not Long Island, or Manhattan. We've had that conversation before. But I always say, like, I would love to expand, but I'm only going to expand if I could find something like Whoggga. Where I want to expand. And, you know, during some reach outs, you guys are a diamond in the rough. It's like, you would think that, like, awesome people like you are everywhere if you're being really optimistic, but no, that's not true.
So I know that wasn't a question, but one of our programming themes in Whoggga is called Acres of Diamonds.
Okay.
And this is a story that's been around for a long time. It's about a farmer that has all the riches that they need on their property, but they meet someone that introduces them to diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that they're so rich and they think that they have everything on their farm, but then they see this shiny gem that's a diamond.
Yeah.
And the farmer sells their property and everything, and they search their whole life to find these riches. And the moral of the story is the farmer never finds those riches, and it's sad because the farmer had the riches all along.
Yeah.
So what the farmer realizes is they had the life they wanted, they had all the riches, but when they started to look at their acres of diamonds, you know, we talk about these relationships. You know, you say that, you know, it's a dime a dozen. It's hard to find people that, you know, you want to build a relationship with. You know, just like a marriage or a relationship is, it's not 50-50, it's 100-100. You put 100% in to build a relationship and you invest in each other. And when you, I have a concept called the 5 eyes. I think you've heard it before. The first eye is to be interested in someone. There needs to be a genuine, natural interest. Without that interest, just putting a square in a circle and it's not going to fit. And the other eyes are to invite, introduce, inform, and inspire.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first meet somebody, within the first 30 days of meeting them, I will practice those 5 eyes if I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll invite them to something, and I'll introduce them to someone, and I'll give them information that can be helpful, and I'll inspire them in some way, shape, or form. And where I'm going with this is these acres of diamonds, these relationships, you constantly need to polish them and rub a little dirt off of them or wash them a little bit. And the more you invest in them, the more you're going to see them to be this shiny, beautiful gem of what they are. And when you find people like that, whether it's a Rich Tavares, a Jen Fink, a Chanel, an Ada, an Adam, whoever it is, you know, showing them that gratitude, but also growing and shining together, you know, that's acres of diamonds. And if you know, I tell, it's something I consult with business owners all the time. I say, if you were to make a list of, there's 100 centers of influences, you know, maybe you only have 50, whatever it is. And you take that list of 100 and then you make it 50 and then you make it 25 and then you make it 10 and then you make it 5. And those are your ride or dies. And so many people are constantly so busy chasing, looking for diamonds.
They don't realize the people in front of them.
They don't realize they have the diamonds right in front of them. If you just focus on the relationships that you genuinely want to be part of, that you're interested in, you know, we'll go back to those names. You know, Rich Tavares, Jen Fink, Chanel Smiley, Ada,
that guys, that's not my diamonds.
These are the diamonds, but these are people that they see your shine, Theo, and you see their shine. And when you're together, it's like you brought up Tina's name before, and you bring all this amazing energy together. And the diamonds shine so bright that you need like the eclipse glass throughout the sun. So, you know, I would leave this podcast and, you know, to the point that you made before about, you know, you growing, expanding. You brought up Montreal, New York City, this or that. You know, recognizing those diamonds in the rough and shining them to be part of your acres of diamonds. That's what I would say. Recognize it, show gratitude, show appreciation. Build a relationship that's authentic and genuine, not just surface to think it's a diamond to find out that it's really a local.
I appreciate that. So where can we support you? Where can we find you? Where can we support you? Where can you send people right now to like learn about Whoggga, learn about you, anything?
I would honestly, Theo, it would be great if people want to genuinely connect with me on LinkedIn, Adam Holtzer. If people wanted to follow Whoggga on Instagram or LinkedIn, that'd be great. The best way I would say for people to help me would be to get to know me. And if somebody is watching or listening to this and they connected with what we talked about, I would say please do not be a stranger and reach out to me. I'm very approachable. You know, there's a term, Jason Hershkowitz. One of the first times I met him in early 2018, and we had an event through this organization that my co-founder Greg and I, another organization that we founded, and everyone had name tags on that said what they wanted to be growing up. And I'll never forget this. Jason's name tag said a difference maker. Just always wanted to be a difference maker. And when you surround yourself with the right people, you know, it's not just about, you know, takers are never going to be givers, givers are never going to be takers.
Yeah.
You got to find yourself around the right people that get to know you for you, that want to be a difference maker, that want to support you, want to help you.
Right.
And it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might be in a month, it might be in a year, whatever it is, but building and reinvesting into those relationships is where the magic of the relationship and the unconventional opportunity is going to grow into.
Yeah, put that time in. I appreciate it, Adam.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming by. Thanks for being number one. Don't tell Tim, because I told Tim he was going to be number one, but you're number one.
If we mention his name 5 more times in this podcast, like Tim Ron from Wild Leather,
Tim Ron from Wild Billing, Smith Crow, I believe he won 3 third one per week.
I know.
And he was not number one.
Yeah, Tim Ron, karaoke guy. What's his theme song? What do you call it? It's Rick Roll.
Never really do it. You the one thing about Tim Wan is the office is pretty cool. It's all like neighborhood decent out. He has like the bat cave and everything, but
it's, you know, Theo, as we continue this conversation, we've probably name dropped 20 people in the conversation. And what's cool about those 20 people is we're name dropping them authentically because we care about the relationships. We love them. But yeah, like the fact that we are friends and get to do business together is just a double, you know, it's a double win for everybody.
It is. But my phone is ringing. I think it's Beyonce calling, so I think we're gonna go.
All right, so yes, thank you very much, Theo, and thank you for the studio for doing this with me.